Hello everyone, welcome to Practically's Biology Sample Paper Discussion class. Okay, so in this 1 month, in the month of November, what we have decided is that we'll be solving all kinds of sample papers. First, we'll be discussing about sample papers, and then we'll be discussing a few questions about previous year. Okay, so it will be for both, since it is term 1 for both 9th and 10th class. So it will run for both 9th and 10th class. For 9th, it will be in the evening time, and for 10th, it will be in the later in the day. Okay, so definitely check out it will be for everything, for most of the science related classes. It will be physics, chemistry, and biology, as well as for maths. Okay, so don't forget to check us out. Now, before starting, I'd like to talk a little bit about us. We are from Practically. It is India's first experiential app. Okay, it is the best app. You can find everything over there, all simulated videos, lifelike things. Okay, it has games, which is also like a teaching thing also. Okay, you can learn a lot of stuff. Okay, so, and it is very easy to enroll for it. Okay, you get a lot of free stuff also. And if you enroll for the classes, okay, just very easily and very cheap. If you enroll for the classes as well, you can find everything. You can get live classes, you can get coding classes as well for all subjects: science, physics, chemistry, maths, biology, for 6th to 12th. Okay, so very easy to enroll. If you first just download the app. Okay, and after you download the app, all you have to do is just go here. Okay, or you can go directly over here, and you can just tap the buttons, which will take you directly to the live classes. Now, after that, all you have to do, you can see all the schedules, everything, all the schedules will be just in front of you. All you have to do is enroll for the classes. If you're for 9th class or 10th class, even if you're for 6th, 7th, and you are interested in getting enrolled, okay, all you have to do is enroll for our classes. And do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel, which is Practically. And what we have a different set of channel also, which is basically for NEET and JEE. Okay, don't forget to check that out as well. Everything is available in the app. Okay, so now, as I said, we have classes running. Okay, all through the month, we'll just be concentrating for the exams, nothing else. It will be for all the subjects: maths, physics, chemistry, bio. First, we'll be discussing in the first half, we'll be discussing about some sample papers, okay, sample questions, which we think might come in for your exams, okay. And then we'll be discussing about the previous year question. See, the thing is, the previous year question is that questions tend to repeat a lot, okay. Although not directly they won't put, but they'll maybe change a few tweaks here and there, few changes here, words or options or numbers or anything. So it is very important for you guys to actually go through the previous year questions as well. So don't forget to check out our video during that time. Okay, so a lot of talking now. Today we'll be discussing only about bio for class 9th. Okay, all the some questions we'll be discussing, and what we feel like these kind of topics can come for your exams. Okay, so stay tuned. Now, the first question. Now, as you know, the question is actually divided into 3 parts. The first part, which is section A, that is for direct questions. Okay, directly they'll ask you a question and they'll give you 4 options, and you have to pick the 4 options. Okay, so that is that. Now, section B is basically for assertion and reasoning. They'll give you an assertion, they'll give you a relative reasoning, and you have to check if they are related, if they are true or not. If both of them are wrong, you have to relate with that. And then there is the section C, which has kind of story. Okay, and you have to answers like it's not basically a story, it's kind of a paragraph they'll tell you, and questions will be related to that. Okay, I've been talking a lot. Okay, let's just jump into the class. Before that, I'll just tell you that if you have any doubts, any queries, you can just put it in the chat box. Okay, and I will definitely try to answer. Even if I don't answer, suppose I'm missing some questions or something, we'll definitely have a question answer class also, where we'll be replying to all your doubts. Okay, so So this is the first questions. Let's read. Okay. So there are statements given, and we have to select the correct ones. So the first is there is no demarcation of dividing and non-dividing regions in the animals. Second is animal consumes less energy as compared to the plants. Third is most of the tissues that plants contain are living. Fourth is structural organization of organs and organ systems are more specialized in animals than and even very complex than in plants, and growth of animals is indefinite. So what you have to do here, you have to select only the correct ones. Okay, sorry, don't mind that. My tab is a bit kind of confusing. Okay, so leave that. Okay, so you have to select the correct options. Now, the first is there is no demarcation of dividing and non-dividing regions in the animals. This is not true at all. Why? Because see, we do not have, there is no demarcation. Okay, so of dividing and non-dividing regions in animals, there is actually no demarcation. We do not have a dividing and non-dividing region. Why? Because we are not plants. We do not have a dividing and non-dividing region. We are always dividing. There are no separate areas where we have a dividing part or a non-dividing part or anything like that. Okay, so there is no dividing. This is correct. Now, animals consume less energy as compared to plants. That is so wrong. See, animals consume a lot of energy. Why? Very easy. Animals are always moving. है ना? Animals have a complex system. They have a lot of machineries inside. They have organs. They have organ systems, digestion, egestion. So many things are happening. And reproduction is so much complex. Everything it requires energy. Okay. And they consume a lot of energy also. So, and they're always moving for food, moving from one place to another. There's movement. What happens in plants? Plants are just sitting in one place or standing in one place. They're not moving anywhere. So there's no, although there is a little bit of energy required for photosynthesis, respiration and all, but that is very minimum than if we compare it to animals. Okay, so this is wrong. Most of the tissues that plants contain are living. Okay, so this is not right as well. Why? Because plants contain tissues. It's not that plants don't contain tissues, but most of the tissues are actually dead. Okay, because of the growth and everything, there is something called, they have lignin in their tissue. Okay, so these materials, lignin, cellulose, they tend to, like, after a period of time, they tend to die. Okay, although not the whole plant is not dead, but some of the tissues, most of the tissues are dead. So animals have a lot, all of them are living, but plants, most of them are dead. Okay, structural organization and of organs and organ systems are more specialized animals than even in very complex plants. This is right. Why? We have so many organs, we have so many organ systems, starting from kidneys, heart, brains, reproductive systems, so many organs. It is so complex. Plants, what they have root, they have shoots, they have leaves, that's all. Okay, so it's not very complex. Even in the most complex plants such as angiosperms and all, everything is quite simple when compared to animals. So animals are very more complex. Growth of animals is indefinite. This is wrong because it is definite. They grow up till a time only, up till a certain amount of time only they'll grow, not indefinitely. They're not growing all the time. That's why we get old, right? Because we're not growing all the time. Plants, they have indefinite growth, but animals do not. So what we can see is this is right and this is right. So it is 1 and 4. Okay. So it is option C. It is 1 and 4. Okay. So that's it. Now, next. Flexibility in plants is due to parenchyma, chlorenchyma, collenchyma, and sclerenchyma. Okay, all of these are plant tissues. Okay, but we have to check which one gives the plants flexibility. See, plant cells we know are quite flexible. Why? Because the taking of water, taking of minerals, giving out of so many, passing on, permeability and everything. So they need to be flexible. To actually live, they need to be flexible. So who is giving this flexibility? Which tissue is actually giving them a bit of flexibility? Can you tell me? Can anyone tell me in the comments? I know some people are there. Maybe if you answer with me, then it'll be better. Or maybe I'll just answer it myself and you can just learn from it, right? So now the flexibility is given by collenchyma. Okay, so why does collenchyma give flexibility? See, collenchyma, as you see, this is a picture of collenchyma. Okay, and see, they have thickened corners and everything. So what they have is, they have something called cellulose, which is there in most of the plants. Okay, and what this cellular gives? Great tensile strength. Okay, so they have given great tensile strength. What will this tensile strength give? Tensile strength gives us flexibility. Okay, so because this collenchyma has cellulose and which provides great tensile strength, and in turn it makes the cells flexible. Okay, now other cells such as parenchyma, sclerenchyma, they are also plant tissues only, but they don't give us parenchyma, these and all. They don't provide flexibility. Okay, so it's only collenchyma which gives flexibility to the cells. Okay, next question. Which step is not involved in carbon cycle? Okay, can anybody tell me what is carbon cycle? Even if you answer late, it is okay, still okay. But okay. Okay, so now what is carbon cycle? See, our atmosphere has a lot of carbon atoms. One of the most important atom in the world is carbon. Everything in the world is carbon based. Okay, so in our environment, okay, it is really like the carbon cycle is something where the environment gives us carbon and then it takes it back. So that cycle where environment is providing carbon and then carbon is again going back to the, by providing carbon to the humans, to the plants, to everything else. Okay, and then again it's going back to the atmosphere. Okay, so this is basically a cycle. It comes from the atmosphere and then it goes back to the atmosphere. So that kind of cycle is known as carbon cycle. Okay, now all of them, okay, whatever is correct, all of them are actually related. Whatever step is there, most of them, apart from one, the one which will be wrong, apart from them, most of them are related to carbon cycle. There is photosynthesis. Of course, this needs carbon. Okay, what does photosynthesis have? Photosynthesis needs carbon dioxide, with water and sunlight and etc. It needs. So it needs respiration. What happens in plants? Okay, it gives carbon dioxide. Mostly in plants, in respiration, carbon dioxide is given out. Okay, burning of fossil fuels. Fossil fuels are what? Crude oil, etc. Everything is carbon based there. Okay, hydrocarbons. Fossils are basically something called hydrocarbons. Okay, so what happens if you burn it? These hydrocarbons and will break and give out carbon atoms. Okay, so the rest thing is transpiration. What does transpiration mean? Transpiration means where the cells of plants they give out water, okay, where the evaporation of water takes place from the stomata of plants. Okay. So we don't have, there is no carbon related to it. No, it's water based, giving up of water and all. Transpiration is water based, it's not carbon based. So the answer is transpiration. See, this figure, it will clear all your doubts. Here, as I said, carbon cycle is where the atmosphere gives and it takes it back. So there is photosynthesis, where the sunlight comes and the carbon dioxide is taken from the atmosphere by the plant and it forms glucose and oxygen. Then again, animal respiration, what happens? We are taking oxygen, we are giving out carbon dioxide. Plants also, when they respire, they give out carbon dioxide. Okay. Crude oil. Okay, crude oil, as I said, is hydrocarbons. They also, when they are broken down, when they are burnt, they give out carbon atoms. So everything apart from transpiration, photosynthesis, respiration, fossil fuels, everything has carbon related to it. Only transpiration is like the evaporation of water from stomata of leaves. Okay, so there is no carbon involved. So the correct answer is transpiration. Okay, I hope you understood it. Now, next, permanent tissues are formed due to, what are permanent tissues? Permanent tissues are basically the tissues which, after attaining an age, or like after they are fully matured, they do not divide. So permanent tissues do not divide after maturation. They are the permanent tissues. Now how are they are formed somehow, right? So what is the method to it? It's not multiplication, it's not division, and it's not redifferentiation. It is differentiation. Okay, so why is it differentiation? See, so what happens? Differentiation is a process in which cells are derived from the apical meristem. Second, yeah, so cells are derived from apical meristem. Now, apical meristem is there in what? In the roots and shoots. Okay, and it goes through a structural change. Okay, differentiation is basically a structural change. Okay, and mostly it happens in the cell walls. Okay, the protoplasm. Okay, and these permanent tissues are formed by this differentiation. Okay, the structural changes and everything, okay, they are derived from the apical meristem and they're formed by the structural changes. Okay, and what, as I said, permanent tissues, what? They don't divide after do not divide after maturity. After they are mature enough, after they've grown enough, they do not divide anymore. Okay, so this formation of the permanent tissues is done by the differentiation. Okay, next, the cells of these tissues are dead. Okay, what is it? It's not mesenchyma, Not parenchyma. Is it sclerenchyma? Maybe. It's not collenchyma. So, it is sclerenchyma. Now, why is it sclerenchyma? See, mesenchyma, parenchyma, collenchyma, they are all living tissues. Okay, mostly parenchyma. It is a properly living tissue. But what is sclerenchyma? Now, sclerenchyma looks somewhat like this. This is the structure. Now, what happens? Sclerenchyma has something called lignin. Okay. So, what lignin gives the strength and then the everything kind of strength which is needed by the cell and everything, that kind of strength is given by lignin. But what lignin does is, after a point of time, after it has grown a bit, after the cells have grown a bit, okay, it does not further divide. It does not further grow. It rather what happens? It dies. Okay. Now, dying mostly is why? Because they have like grown enough. Sclerenchyma, after it has grown enough, okay, it does not elongate anymore, or it does not grow anymore. So it just basically it dies. So that is why it is known as a dead tissue. Okay, so that is why it is known as a dead tissue. Okay. Hi Rohit, welcome to the class. Okay, ma'am, can humans and animals breed? Sorry Rohit, I did not understand your question. If you can repeat your question on a proper way, maybe I'll be able to answer. Okay, sorry, I did not understand it. Okay. Now, this organelle is called suicide bags. Okay, why suicide bags? Although it is a kind of a negative word, suicide bags means something which is killed or which is digested. Suicide basically means something which is killed. Okay. Okay. Or in cell biology term, it is digested. Now, which among them is known as suicide bags? Not Golgi apparatus, not rough endoplasmic reticulum, not smooth endoplasmic reticulum. It is lysosome. Okay. So, lysosome is the answer. Now, this is basically how a lysosome looks. So, why is it known as suicide bag? Okay, the answer is lysosome is filled. Okay, it is filled with enzymes. Enzymes such as hydrolases and all. Okay, hydrolases, etc. So it is filled with the enzymes. And whatever particle comes, be it a foreign particle, mostly if it is a foreign particle, or even sometimes it will take up its own particles also, it will just take it up, and because of these presence of so much enzymes, such enzyme complex are inside, digestive enzymes are present inside the lysosomes, they just break up the materials. Okay, so hydrolases, etc., they just, what happens, they'll take a molecule and they'll break it up. Okay, so this is what happens in lysosome. They'll just take the molecules, be it from a foreign particle, or sometimes it will take up its own material also, which needs to be digested, and they'll take the molecules and they'll break it up into simpler particles. That breaking up and digestion is why it is known as suicide bag. Okay, it's like a bag which has all the enzymes which are killing the particles. So that is why it is known as suicide bag. Now, Golgi apparatus and rough endoplasmic reticulum, smooth endoplasmic reticulum, they have their own synthesis. Okay, they synthesize different kinds of molecules. They are not involved in any digestion mechanism, so they are not known as suicide bags. Okay, see, okay. Next, why do some plants have coating of cutin present on the leaves? To prevent leaves from damage, to prevent transpiration in extreme heat, to prevent the process of photosynthesis, and to increase gaseous exchange. Now, please understand what is cutin. Cutin is a waxy material. Okay, so cutin is a waxy material on the leaves. Now, since it is kind of a waxy material, what it does not let the water molecules come out. Okay, does not let water molecules come out. So this is what happens when there are cutin. What it does not let the water molecules come out. So what happens? There is no transpiration. Just now, just like 5 minutes back only, I told you what transpiration means. Transpiration is the evaporation of water from the stomata of the leaves. That is where the water loses, the leaves lose, or the plants lose the water. Okay, now in like countries such like places which are deserts and all, okay, countries which have very less water, okay, or which are desert based, okay, these kind of places, they do not have a lot of water and it is extremely hot. Now the plants along with the animals, even the plants suffer because there is not enough water. So they have an adaptation. Okay, so what these plants do, they have an adaptive feature. So what is the adaptive feature? That it has cutin on leaves. So what will the cutin on leaves do? Cutin on leaves will make sure water, because there's so much less water. Okay, so water is not lost. Okay, whatever water is inside the plant, it will be inside the plant and it won't be able to leave. Okay, so that is the idea. So it's not for damage, okay, it's not for photosynthesis, it's not for gaseous exchange. It is basically to prevent transpiration in extreme heat. Okay, and this feature is mostly seen in desert plants because it's so hot. Because of the hot climate, it is mostly seen in desert plants. It is an adaptive feature. Okay, so this is what happens. Next, given us some differences between tissues of plants and animals, which of these are incorrect differences? Now, so you have to find the incorrect differences. Tissues of plants are made up of lignified dead cells. Tissues in plants are made up of living cells. Of course, so since I said lignin, okay, after some time it dies, like as we saw in sclerenchyma. So this is correct. And tissues of animals are made up of living cells. All of the living tissues we have are living. Okay. Structural organization of plants is more complicated than that of animals. This is so wrong. Structural organization of animals is not complex. The structural organization is so complex in animals. In animals, it is cells to tissues to organs to organ systems, and then to the body. Here it is just hardly, it is root. Although they have cells and tissues, they have roots, stems, leaves, flowers, etc. So it's very simple when you compare it, although it is kind of a difficult thing only, but when you compare it, the animals are way more complex. Now, so animals are way more complex and the structural organization is very complex in nature when compared to plants. So this is not correct. Growth in plants is definite. No, it is indefinite growth. Plants can grow all the time. Okay, they are totipotent. They can grow. Growth in animals is indefinite. No, it is definite. That's why we grow till a point of time only. After that, we don't grow anymore. We are not like after puberty and hits and everything, we grow till that age only. After that, we are not growing. So it is definite. It's not indefinite. It is indefinite in plants. So this is also wrong. There are dividing and non-dividing tissues in plants at specific regions. True. They do not possess specific regions of dividing and non-dividing. Exactly true. So we do not have plants. They have a dividing region where they are dividing from where they are growing. Okay. Plants have a non-dividing region. From there, they're not growing. Animals do not have anything like that. They grow. But there's no specific region that from here only you might grow and from there only you might grow. Nothing like that. So it is true. So 2 and 3. The answer is 2 and 3. Okay, I hope you understood. Okay, section B. Now, as I said, since the this thing has the how we set the question paper in the board exams, this section A, section B, section C. Section A is complete. Okay, now we move on to section B. Section B is for assertion and reasoning. So you'll have an assertion, you'll have a reasoning. Okay, and you have to see what is related to what, if both are false or if one is true or one is false, that you have to see. Okay. SER basically means smooth endoplasmic reticulum. Okay, so SER helps in manufacture of fat or lipid molecules. These fats and lipids help in building of cell membrane. This is absolutely correct. SER does smooth endoplasmic, does manufacture fat and lipid molecules, and it does help in the building of cell membrane. So both A and R are true, and R is the correct explanation of A. Okay, because smooth endoplasmic does synthesize the fat and lipid molecules, and this fat and lipid molecules, they have cell membrane, has different protein, lipid, protein kind of a membrane where there is a lot of proteins and where there's a lot of lipid molecules. Okay, hydrophobic and hydrophilic lipid molecules and membrane has. So that kind of lipid is generated or synthesized by the smooth endoplasmic reticulum only. Okay, next. Leucoplast is a type of plastid and it contains the chlorophyll pigment responsible for photosynthesis. Plastids are present only in plants. Okay, so leucoplast is a type of plastid. It contains chlorophyll pigment responsible for photosynthesis. This is wrong. Leucoplast is not the thing. Chloroplast. Chloroplast is the type of plastid which contains chlorophyll and is responsible for photosynthesis. Leucoplast has different kinds of things. It has, sometimes it will have proteins and sometimes it will have lipids in it, but never chlorophyll. So this is wrong. Plastids are present only in plants. This is true. Okay, so A is false and R is true. Okay, see, you can see here. So we have 3 kinds of plastids: chromoplast, chloroplast, leucoplast. Leucoplast has a myeloplast, elioplast, proteinoplast. It will contain all protein molecules and everything, but never chlorophyll. So A is false. Why? Because leucoplast does not contain chlorophyll. Okay, R is true because plastids are only present in plants only. Okay, so that's it. Now, next. The inner lining of intestine has tall epithelial cells. And columnar epithelium facilitates absorption and secretion. So this is both true. So this is how the columnar epithelium looks. Okay, and they are present in the inner lining of small intestine. Okay, and what does small intestine do? They have, okay, it helps in absorption and secretion. Okay, intestine does that by absorption of all the food particles. It will break down and it will absorb all the food particles, the simpler form of food particles. Secretion, it will secrete all the juices which is required for all kinds of absorption. So, and that is done with the help of this columnar epithelium. Okay, so both A and R are true, and R is the correct explanation of A. Okay, next. Surface of skin is impervious to water. Okay, so what it says is our skin is impervious. Water does not, only if we drink will our body gain some kind of liquid. Okay, but surface of, why? Because surface of skin is covered by stratified cuboidal epithelium. Okay, so impervious to water, as in if we take water, it does not just go inside our body. All we have to do is drink it. Okay, so impervious to water, as in it is not permeable to water. Okay. Why? Because it is covered by stratified cuboidal epithelium. See, A is true, but R is false. Why? Because we do not have stratified cuboidal epithelium. We have something called stratified squamous epithelium. Okay, so it's not cuboidal, it is squamous. Okay, so it is stratified squamous epithelium. So A is true, but R is false. So what this stratified squamous epithelium have? They have something called keratin. Now, keratin is a protein which makes sure that, along with other substances also, this makes sure that the water does not enter through our skins. 10th life would have been so easy, no? We'll just take up water just like that. It doesn't work like that. Water does not enter through our skins because of stratified squamous epithelium. That is why A is true, but R is false. Okay, next. Plasma membrane is selectively permeable, and reasoning is plasma membrane allows some molecules to pass through it more easily than others. Of course, it is selectively permeable. Why? Because only some molecules, okay, smaller molecules, water molecules, this and only some molecules are allowed. Okay, and plasma membrane allows some molecules to pass through it more easily than others. So it is A. Okay, see, this picture will only help you out. So this is plasma membrane, as you can see. So there is a macromolecule. It will only allow small molecules only. Macromolecule is something which is bigger in size. Okay, so big sized molecules are not allowed. Okay, apart from that, water is allowed. Okay, water is allowed. And then again, charge here, as you can see, charged molecules and all, they are not allowed. Okay, charged molecules, again, they are not allowed. Plus, minus, whatever charge it is, they are not allowed. So these things, some of them are allowed and some of them are not allowed. So that is why both assertion and reasoning are true, and R is the correct explanation of the assertion. Okay, so that is A is correct. Next, let me check. Okay, so the endoplasmic reticulum, which lacks ribosomes, is called smooth endoplasmic reticulum, and the smooth endoplasmic reticulum is involved in protein synthesis. See, so endoplasmic reticulum, which lack ribosomes, they do not have ribosomes. It's something somewhat like this. Okay, they do not have. The rough ones have ribosomes, but the smooth ones do not have ribosomes. So it is known as smooth endoplasmic ribosomes. But they are not involved in protein synthesis. They are involved in fat lipid molecule synthesis, not more protein synthesis. They don't have ribosomes. See, the basic idea is ribosomes help in protein synthesis. Okay. Now, smooth endoplasmic reticulum, what it does not have ribosomes. Okay. So, as you can see, the smooth endoplasmic reticulum, they do not have. The rough ones have, but the smooth ones do not have. So, they will not produce proteins. Instead, what they does, they produce lipids or fats. So, A is true, okay, but R is false. Okay, next. Mitochondria and chloroplasts are semi-autonomous organelles. They are formed by division of pre-existing organelles and contain DNA but lack protein synthesizing machinery. Okay, so we know mitochondria and chloroplast have their own DNA. Okay, so when they have DNA, they'll have RNA, they'll have protein also. Okay, so they are somehow processing protein also. So that is why mitochondria and chloroplast, they process proteins. But mitochondria and chloroplast, although they have their own DNA and stuff like that, they are still controlled by the nucleus. So they have their own machinery, they can work properly, but the main function, that is controlled by nucleus. That is why they are semi-autonomous. Okay, so see. So this is mitochondria, and they have their own DNA, which can produce their own proteins. But, so this is wrong. But they are semi-autonomous. Why? Because they are still controlled by the nucleus. So A is true and R is false. Okay, very easy. See, these questions are kind of easy. All you have to do is just learn a bit. You just close your eyes and concentrate on things a little bit. Okay, the syllabus is quite easy and it's not very complicated. All you have to do is read line by line. You have to read it properly, and then only you'll be able to answer it. Now, a plant cell bursts if plant placed in water. High turgor pressure causes bursting of plant cells. Okay, see, very easy. Plant cells actually have a cell wall. Okay, now this cell wall is actually kind of miraculous in nature. It will do things which our normal cell cannot do. So cell wall, what it does, it takes water. Okay, there is intake of water. Okay, so there is intake of water, and never, what will happen is up to a point only it will take water till the plant cell can hold it. Okay, so it has a vacuole which will hold the water. The plant cells will have a vacuole. Through the cell wall it will come, and it will come in the vacuole, and it will stay there. But up to a certain limit only they'll stay there, not a lot. Why? After a point, the cell wall stops taking water. So after a while, it stops taking water. So there is no turgor pressure or anything which will help in bursting of plant cells. Otherwise, there won't be any plants only, because it will keep taking water, and it will start bursting. No, it doesn't work like that. Up till a certain point only, it will fill itself, and after that, it will stop taking water. So no turgor pressure can break it, because cell wall can control the intake of water. Okay, so plant cell bursts if placed in water. No, because it has cell wall. High turgor pressure causes bursting of plant cells. That is also no. By cell wall controls water intake. So both A and R is false. Okay, so both A and R is false. Next, so now it is the this thing. What we have to do is we have to read a passage. They'll give a passage. We have to read it. Sometimes the questions might be direct. Even after the passage, the questions might be a bit direct. Sometimes what will happen is they'll maybe a bit related to it. But most of the times questions will be indirect only. It will never be direct. Okay. So suppose now the paragraph says, if we take 2 beakers filled with salt solution, so this water has salt solution, okay, and water. Now, if we add some dried raisins in these beakers and let them sit for some time, based on the experiment, answer the following question. So now we have beakers which is full of salt solution. Okay, one is salt solution and one is water. Now, if we add some, now we add some dried raisins in it. Okay, remember, one is salt, this has salt water, and this is just water, and there are dry raisins into it. So what will happen? The first questions, the raisins will shrink in which the following solution. So in what solutions will the raisins sink? So shrinking, why will it happen? When like the raisins have a more concentration of water. So why? Because why shrink? When it loses water, when raisins are losing water. So why will it happen? When raisin has more concentration of water than the whatever beaker it is in, that is a salt solution. So only in the salt solution will the raisins lose water, because the water will come from the raisins and go out in the salt solution. Okay, so it is a hypertonic solution. This is salt water. Okay, so in the hypertonic solution only, when it's the salt water, the raisins will shrink. It will lose water, it will give out water to make up. Okay, next. In diffusion, there is a spontaneous movement of a substance from a region of dash concentration to a region where its concentration is dash. So what happens in diffusion? See, so what happens in diffusion? The molecules, okay, they move from region of higher concentration to a region of lower concentration. Okay, so from higher C, can you see these red dots? From higher concentration to they are coming to this area which does not have a lot of concentration of the molecules. So region of higher concentration to a region of lower concentration. So high and low, that is what diffusion means. Okay, next, what is the process that tends to gain water in raisins called as? So in what process will the raisins gain water? Now see, so in osmosis, what will happen? Okay, so in osmosis, this is a way in which spontaneous net movement or diffusion of solvent molecules through selectively permeable membrane. Okay, so from a region of high water potential, to low water potential. So what happens when the raisins are in the water solution, not the salt solution, the water solution? So raisins have less water and the water is more outside. So, and since raisins have a covering, it is like a selectively permeable membrane, it will allow the water. Okay, so the water here goes inside the raisins. The raisins allow the water, and what happened? They become swollen. Okay, so this process is known as osmosis. Okay, last question. If the medium has exactly same water concentration as the present in the raisins, there will be no net movement of water across the raisins and cell membrane. So what is this solution known as? It is known as isotonic solution. See, so what isotonic? Both the beaker and raisins have same amount of water. Okay, in hypotonic solution, what happens? The water is more outside. So what will happen? The water might come inside. The raisins will get swollen. Hypertonic solution, what will happen? Water less. Water concentration is less. So what will happen? The raisins will shrink. Okay. So since the question says here, the raisins will, both the raisins and the beaker have same amount of solution. Nowhere is it low or high. So there is no water exchange. Okay, there is no net water flow or anything happening. So raisins will become as it is. There will be no change. Okay, so the answer is isotonic solution. Okay, so now for this class, this much is what we discuss. Every week we'll be discussing new questions. For all this month, we'll be discussing new questions. Okay, sometimes we'll have sample question paper. After that, we'll be discussing about previous year questions, whatever has come, whatever we've got to know. Okay, so stay tuned. We'll have n number of classes. It will be for maths, physics, chemistry, biology, for everything, for both 9th and 10th. Okay, Do not forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Okay, like and share the video with your friends also. And enjoy a very happy Diwali. Be safe. Okay, I'll see you guys in the next class. Bye bye.